Christmas morning. My sister was handed a brand new house key wrapped in gold ribbon. My parents cried with joy, hugging her like she was their miracle child. And me? They handed me a plain envelope with a job listing inside, as if all I deserved was a desk and fluorescent lights. But what they didn't know was that I'd soon own the one thing they treasured most. If you've ever been overlooked, underestimated, or cast aside by your own family, this story is for you. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell, because on this channel, justice isn't just served, it's savored. And I promise, by the end of this story, you'll be cheering for the sweetest kind of revenge. My name is MNA, and for as long as I can remember, my family has had one golden child, and it wasn't me. A Christmas morning in our house followed the same traditions every year. Burnt cinnamon rolls that my mom insisted were perfectly fine. My dad lighting the fireplace even though the house was already 72 degrees. And, of course, my younger sister Jenna, waltzing in fashionably late just so everyone could gush over her. The tree sparkled with the same gold ornaments from my childhood, each one cracked or chipped in some way. But like everything in our family, no one acknowledged the flaws. We pretended tradition was perfect. And at the center of it all, my mother, Margaret. She wore her velvet red robe like a queen opening court. She beamed as she handed Jenna a gold-wrapped box with satin ribbon. "Open it," she said, glowing with pride. Jenna gasped before she even touched the bow, her signature move, like she was auditioning for a Hallmark commercial. Inside was a velvet box, a silver house key. "We bought her a house," my mom announced, her voice catching with emotion. Jenna squealed, hugging them both while my father grinned with pride. And me? I smiled out of muscle memory, not joy. Because my gift came quietly, a plain envelope slipped into my lap by my father. No announcement. No applause. Just a muttered, "Here you go." I didn't open it right away. Something told me it wouldn't be good. But when I finally did, it was worse than I expected. Inside wasn't a gift. It was a printout of a job listing for an entry-level admin assistant role. And at the bottom, in my father's handwriting, were the words, "Thought this might be more your speed." Meanwhile, Jenna was twirling her house key like it was a diamond. That was the moment something shifted inside me. Because the truth was, this wasn't new. My family had always made it clear where I stood. When I was 9, I baked my own birthday cupcakes while my mom brushed Jenna's hair for ballet. When I graduated with honors, my mom didn't come because Jenna had a dance competition. When I won a scholarship, my mom sat front row scrolling on her phone. Her only comment afterward? Well, at least she's good at something. Favoritism doesn't whisper. It carves. And by the time I was holding that envelope on Christmas morning, I had been carved hollow for decades. I didn't say anything that day. But inside, I made a decision. Months later, guilt dragged me back home. My parents claimed they needed help lifting boxes. Jenna, of course, was too busy. That night, I couldn't sleep. Wandering the house, I noticed something strange. My dad's office door, usually locked like a vault, was ajar. Inside, his safe was open, and in it, I found something that changed everything. A sealed envelope labeled, "To be opened upon death." I shouldn't have opened it. But after years of being sidelined, I needed to know. Inside was a will. And this one wasn't like the one they'd shown years ago. This one had my name at the top. A property deed. A house I didn't even know existed. And the signature on the paperwork? My name, but forged. As I dug deeper, I uncovered more. Bank transfers. Investments tied to my social security number. Even the family's beloved lake house, secretly mortgaged to fund Jenna's failed skincare line. They hadn't just neglected me. They'd used me. I called a lawyer friend and laid out the documents. Her verdict? If you wanted to pursue fraud, you'd have a case. But I didn't just want justice in court. I wanted something bigger. Clarity and control. So I created a shell LLC. Quietly, carefully, I positioned myself. And when the lake house finally went up for auction, I bought it, not as MNA, but through my company, legally, cleanly, anonymously. For the first time in my life, I owned the one thing my parents cherished most. Christmas came again. Same burnt cinnamon rolls. Same fake smiles. Same performance. I placed a plain white box under the tree. No ribbon. No tag. When it was my turn, I handed it to my dad. He opened it slowly, expecting socks or maybe a scarf. Inside was an envelope, sealed in wax. He broke the seal, unfolded the papers, and froze. First, the notarized deed. My name. The property. The lake house. Then, the evidence of forged signatures. Legal warnings attached. The color drained from his face. My mother leaned over, still smiling, until she read the words. Her smile shattered instantly. "What is this?" she whispered. "It's exactly what it looks like," I said, calm, steady. The room fell silent. Jenna clutched her new handbag like it could protect her. My mother stared at my father with betrayal in her eyes. And my father? He just sat there, white-knuckled, holding papers that proved his entire story had collapsed. Finally, I stood, smoothed my sweater, and said softly, "I won't be sharing the lake house. Not this time." And then I left. That night, I sat by the window of the lake house. My lake house. Snow fell outside, coating the world in silence. It wasn't glamorous. The floors creaked. The chimney smoked. But it was mine. And more importantly, it wasn't theirs. For once, I wasn't angry. I wasn't even triumphant. I was free. Because silence, when it's forced on you, is suffocating. But silence, when you choose it, that's power. They tried to erase me for years. To make me smaller, quieter, less deserving. But in the end, it was their silence, their secrets, that cost them everything. And me? I finally stopped playing the role they'd written for me. If you've ever been underestimated, overlooked, or pushed aside, remember this. Silence can break you, but it can also save you. Now, I want to hear from you. What's the most satisfying act of revenge you've ever seen or experienced? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if this story gave you chills, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear that justice always finds its way. Until next time, stay strong and never let anyone write your story for you.